And we're live.
So how's this work? I talk first, you talk first, what?
I can't remember the lines.
Well, you're supposed to say, you just sit there and then I go, because it's kind of difficult to understand you with all the stuff.
Okay, it's a Star Wars reference in case anyone didn't get it. If you guys don't know, the new Star Wars movie that was recently in theaters came out on DVD today, and guess who already has a copy? This guy.
I do.
Yeah, I really am going to.
And it's on my phone now, too, because I got the digital copy with the DVD.
Well, all the DVDs come with digital copies.
Yeah, but I still have it for you.
No, touche. You win this round, Bill.
I do win this round.
We also have the Imperial and Rebel flags behind us, care of Bill. I think they look awesome.
I think they do, too.
Don't want to give you too much credit, though. That being said, we've got a special live show for you here today. We've got some very interesting new products. I mean, on the face of it, it might not be incredibly interesting to you, but once we pulled them apart, it was actually very interesting to a lot of us, especially those of us that like AKs. But we are going to talk a lot about
and those of us that don't like AKs, I actually really like them.
Good segue, Bill. That being said, we're going to answer your questions today, so feel free if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and if we can't answer them, we will. We're going to go over these Lonex / Lancer Tactical AKs made or OEM by Lonex in a quick second. We also have a few things to show you and tell you about. One is that we've been doing a video series lately, basically our top 3 favorite AEGs. We had one come out for Bill's top 3 AEGs. What were they, Bill?
It was, the first one was actually a E&L AK. I forget the exact model because it was something super long. Second one was the G&G M14, the EBR, because I've always loved M14s because I've shot a real one and they are fun. And then my top one was the LVOA because I think in the video, and honestly I remember it now, is the reason I went with an M4, which was the LVOA, over the M14 is because all my gear is already set up for an M4. So if I went to an M14, I'd have to change out a lot of stuff, get a bunch of new magazines. So that's what it really came down to. But if I had the extra money or whatever to change everything, I totally would, and I'd run an M14.
Fair play. So you can also check out Justin, who's another member of our marketing team. He's reffed at SC Village for quite a few years. All of us have different takes on our favorite AGs and the reasoning behind them, as Marcus quietly sneaks out of the room. It's our editor, you probably can't see him. But that being said, each of us have our different philosophies, which informs what our favorite AEGs are. So if you want to take a look at those videos, Bill's and Justin's are already out, and here's a quick preview of mine right now. Hi GITV, Bob the Axeman Hildebrand here, and today we're going to go over my top 3 favorite AEGs, and the overall theme for these guns is versatility. Now when I say versatility, what it means to me is that these are guns that I will... Alright, we're not going to give you too much of that. We want you to actually watch the video because that is going to go live, I believe, tomorrow or the next day. So stay tuned to find out what my top 3 favorite AEGs are. As you can probably tell in that short preview, we got a Crytek gun in that list for myself.
What are your top 3, Bob?
I don't want to say it. I want to watch the video. Yeah.
I want to see if you'd fall for it.
But they're top 3 AEGs. So they're not my top 3 all-time favorite airsoft guns, just my top 3 favorite AEGs right now.
Because I'm pretty sure the TM870 would be in there and probably the LM4.
You know, if it was top 3 favorite...
Or MP9.
It would probably be the LM4. And it would probably be actually the TM Spring Benelli shotgun that I had.
Oh, yeah, the one that's like lasted forever or something like that?
Yeah, I've only had one thing break on it. It was just like basically the loading tray that covers up where the shot shell gets held.
Oh, the thing that's actually not even really necessary.
Well, I mean, it is necessary to keep the shell in there.
Oh.
Like the door.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, so anyway, getting off topic, those are 2 of my top 3 favorite of all time AEGs. But that being said, again, Star Wars DVD came out today. A lot of us here are huge Star Wars fans. And, I personally have been playing Star Wars Battlefront a lot lately.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to probably go back and play it. It's been a while. I actually topped out, like, my level. And so I was like, well, I'm going to play some other game. Or actually, it wasn't topped out my level. I was just able to finally buy the Dark Trooper, or whatever the Stormtrooper is in the black armor, and I was like, I like the Scout Trooper better. And then I was like, ooh, other game, Fallout 4, I'll play that. So that's kind of what happened. But I know there's been some DLC for it I'll have to take a look at and maybe buy. I know I haven't played Battlefront in a while. I mean, I was starting to get frustrated with everyone using the DL44, and I'm getting blasted from ranges. I'm like, I'm using a sniper rifle or, blaster can or whatever, and I'm getting taken out by a dude with a pistol. It's just like, it pissed me off.
Fair play. We actually do have one question first right off the back. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, how did you guys get your code names, call signs? It's an interesting question. For me, myself, I actually started going out to Airsoft with a foam axe, and one of my friends was like, oh, Bob the Axe Man. And then it just kind of happened just with friends actually just playing at Tax City, which is actually no longer around anymore. They shifted locations, and then one of their other two locations just closed down. So that's how I got my name. I basically took out a foam axe, and someone just put the Axe Man right after Bob. So what about you, Bill? Because your name is Bantha Bill.
Yeah, mine was actually from not this most recent Christmas, it was the Christmas before that, was that 2014? Our photo editor slash graphics guy slash anything else that we need Photoshop guy, he each gave us Kevin. I was getting to his name. Okay. Each gave us a little present, and mine was actually a stuffed bantha. And if you guys don't know, a bantha is like a giant furry creature with horns that sand people ride in Star Wars. And I actually started, I think it was right after I'd gotten a Pantac like backpack that you can actually molly into your plate carrier, and there's a little extra pocket, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to shove him in there, and he's going to be my battle buddy. And that's kind of how it stuck, because I started carrying around a stuffed bantha in my backpack, and now he even has a helmet that I made for him out of Bondo body filler. I basically like made a duct tape mold and then covered it with Bondo and sanded it down, drilled out holes for his horns to stick out, so he has a matching Mitch 2000 helmet. So Bill, I got really bored.
Bill put in a lot more work than I did as far as like creating his own code name.
Well, it's weird, like little projects like that, I take a lot of time on some stuff, and then just because I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like I was like, how am I going to design a stuffed bantha-sized helmet? And I did it.
Yes, you did, Bill. I can't deny that. Zane Davis, your shout-out is approved. And yes, I do remember you. And I also remember HC Republic. What the heck? HC Republic, you just ate a cheesesteak. I believe we were talking about that in the last live show. I actually desperately need a cheesesteak. I haven't had one.
Go to Philly's Best, dude.
I know. I just need to do that. All right, so... someone's asking if we got a Stormtrooper loadout anytime in the future. That would be awesome. I would hope that we would have someone in Southern California come in with a Stormtrooper loadout. I've never seen a legit Stormtrooper loadout in any of our ops. We've actually had folks show up in the Stormtrooper pajamas and play with, I think it's a Sterling, you know, the gun that the Stormtrooper gun is based off of.
Well, who is it? Someone here has a Stormtrooper costume.
Oh, James.
Yeah, James has a full
but
Stormtrooper.
but it's, Stormtrooper costumes are not cheap, and
no,
to bring them out to Airsoft, they're gonna get dents in them.
He even had I think he also has a Darth Vader costume. I remember him bringing in his helmet once, and I wore it around the office.
Someone's asking about our thoughts on the Polar Star Jack.
I like it because it gives you a lot more flexibility, because before the Jack came out, and also it's competition, because competition ultimately builds better technology and such, because you had what was the first one? Not the Hydra. It was the competitor to Polar Star. I'm blanking. The one that's the drop-in unit.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention because I got John Luke calling me right now. Hold on, let me answer this real quick. I believe that was
it
Wolverine.
Wolverine, yes. It basically was a competitor to Wolverine Airsoft, or Wolverine was a competitor to Polar Star. God, I'm blanking. I'm having a horrible time right now. I've been up since 5:30. But because it gave some competition, it led to innovation, and now we are going to be having the F1 engine coming out very soon. And personally, I like something that's a little bit more affordable to drop in, because $500 for a full Polar Star Fusion engine is pretty pricey, especially if you already drop, $300 to $500 a gun, and then you got to drop in another $500. You're looking at $1,000. Whereas the Jack, I think, is only about $300-ish. So it's an added, it's an added value, but you still got a lot of features and benefits of the full Fusion engine. But like I said, because Wolverine came out with theirs, then Polar Star came out with theirs, it's a constant battle, and everyone's always innovating, which means because there's innovation, everyone wins because there's better technology.
Okay, so we got a lot of questions that actually just hit up the chat. I'm going to try and go through them in order, but there are a lot of really good questions. From Turvis Cup Series, I'm kind of curious about that name. Best starter M4 airsoft gun. Well, obviously, a lot of, getting into airsoft, it depends on your budget. If you only have $100, then we're going to suggest the best we can in that line. If you have $150 or $200, we're going to suggest something in that line. If you had an unlimited budget, we could tell you anything like A Crytek SPR, or like something that's like, great out of the box, you're going to have very few issues with. But just for the majority of the people that we talk to, their budget is between $100 and $200 for a starter airsoft gun. Generally, I would recommend, a G&G combat machine or something from our G4 series, because our G4 series, generally, we all use completely Lonix internals, are great internals, which feeds into what we're going to talk about today. But also with our G4 series, you have a lot of different options, and you essentially get a custom gun that's built really well by our tech department right out of the box, like multiple different rails, multiple different setups.
Are you talking about FMG4 or G4?
The G4 series.
G4 is G&G internals.
Okay, G&G internals. The
FMG4
is
is
Lonix internals. G&G internals are also really, really great, especially for the price. The FMG4s, the FM in front of it stands for full metal, so you're going to pay more for the full metal body of that gun. So G4s, G&G combat machines, those are great starter guns. If you need a little bit lower price range, Lancer Tactical offers AKs and M4s in a very, very affordable price range, around $98.
Yeah.
Now, the externals are not as tough. I mean, it's essentially plastic, but they took that price point and made the best gearbox they could for the money, which is, I think, where the money needs to be focused on anyway. So you're going to get a competitive M4 AK right out of the box at a stupid low price.
Yeah, and we actually have, and then back to our G4s, we actually have one here in the office that I think the only thing we ever did to it was drop a Miracle Barrel.
Yeah.
And internally, it's never been touched.
No, we use that.
And that thing's been in here for years, and it's like we can't kill the thing, to be honest.
From Kraken Airsoft, hey Bob and Bill, what is your opinion on backyard airsoft? Personally, I'm against it unless you have a private multi-acre land. Also remember me. Yes, I do, Kraken Airsoft. I actually saw you in the chat earlier, and then the comments went crazy. But yeah, I absolutely do remember you. Yeah, I mean, backyard airsoft, a lot of it depends on the context. Like if it's your backyard and your backyard is like you said, multi-acres, and you make everyone around you aware of what you're doing, and you let local law enforcement know, then yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be a big issue as long as it's, obviously private property. Now, when you're, in a city or you're somewhere where it's really densely populated, that doesn't work as well because BBs, go over fences or whatnot. You don't want to get anyone else hurt. You don't want to get you don't want to get cops or law enforcement called out on you. So, I mean, I think as far as backyard airsoft goes, it really has to be done on private property with, a lot of space. You make all of your neighbors aware. You inform local law enforcement because the last thing you want to have happen is for them to show up, not know what's going on, and you have issues because of that. Bill, your opinion?
I'm honestly on the same page. I mean, the very first time I ever airsoft was back in junior high or something like that, and it was, I mean, we played in my backyard, but the thing is, my backyard has high fences, so no one can see in. We never shot over the fence and stuff like that, but in terms of actually playing and not really plinking, you definitely need a lot of space.
Yes. And
like I said, if it's in a city or a town or something where people can really see you, then you can run into issues.
Exactly. Let's see, from William Hughes, SAI thoughts on where to get the slide. It's interesting because we don't carry Salient Arms International, and what I found is I was actually really interested in Salient a few years ago, but there have actually been some competitors that I have been made aware of over the past few years that have gotten me a lot more interest, specifically, in the real firearm world, ZevTech.
I like ZevTech.
I love ZevTech. However, something that I've noticed is, from what I've seen, is getting more popular than Salient, or at least I feel like they're producing better work because I've had some of their airsoft versions of their guns in my hands, and that's Agency Arms. Agency Arms does a lot of really cool slides for Glock series pistols in the real firearm world, as well as other airsoft components. And the stuff looks legit. A fellow friend of mine known as Robo Murray.
He actually
has
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Well, he's Canadian.
Well, which is even
nicer
on top. Yeah. And if you haven't heard of Robo Murray, go check out his channel. It's awesome. He also makes really great T-shirts. But he actually just did a review, I believe, on the Agency Arms G Series pistol for airsoft, or maybe it's just a slide. But thing looks immaculate. I got a handle one at SHOT Show. I would choose the Agency Arms one hands down.
Wait, handle a real one or a?
It was an airsoft version.
Okay.
I got to see. I think it was the slide and then some of the other stuff, but.
What's actually kind of funny is I've noticed that these companies like Salient, ZevTech, and I think Agency also are based here in California.
Ironically, you wouldn't
Which
think.
is really funny. I'm these companies that make this, all this stuff. Another one that's strange that you guys may not know, Surefire, which is known for I mean, obviously they make suppressors, and then they make those, I think it's like a 60-round fat mag, and then a 100-round.
Yeah.
They're based here in California.
Yeah, it's really odd.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't, especially because very restrictive state as far as gun regulation goes. All right, so we're going to get to one more question, because this relates to Star Wars.
Yes.
Do you think the new Star Wars or the old Star Wars is better?
Ooh.
Old Star Wars. I mean, look, I like the new movie. I loved watching it. I got a little bit off hinge when I realized that they pretty much recycled a lot of the same plot points.
They did, but like I understand why they did, because the first one you need to make sure you play a little bit safer, because you don't want to piss off the old crowd,
because then they're not going to come back. Because
you want to bring in the new generation too. And I mean, there were some plot twists for those of you that haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to give anything away. I like the old series. I just hate some of the remastered stuff that was done. Like, I don't know why it bugged me so much at the end of episode 6 when they replaced the old guy that was Anakin with what's that actor's name? Hayden Christensen.
That was annoying.
I'm like, but the thing is, when he died, he was an old man. He wasn't young, so why is it young him? Like, Obi-Wan wasn't like, oh, look, we replaced with the young Obi-Wan. And Yoda still had all his wrinkles, so...
Yeah, no, it's interesting you bring that up, because I recently, my fiance Kathleen she hasn't seen Star Wars, and I didn't realize that until after we got engaged, and I was like, for shame. Anyway, so I forced her to sit down and watch the original 3 Star Wars.
I have to do the same with my girlfriend. She hasn't seen the newer ones yet. I mean, she saw the most recent one with me, and she liked it. And I explained basically the entire story to her. She just needs to watch the movies now.
Well, the thing for me is that, like, she was asking, like, why, like, this stuff looks like the CGI was done somewhat recently, but it's still crappy. I was like, yeah, well, back, like, in the, I think it's like the mid-90s or early 2000s, George Lucas decided he wanted more money and remastered them and re-released them.
And it was under the guise of, well, this is how I originally wanted it. We didn't have the budget at the time. Like, now, if that actually was the truth, or that's what he was just saying to explain it, we'll never really know. I mean, I like the older ones, but time will tell. We'll see how the next few go. I really liked the new one, even though the storyline is very similar to one of the other movies. I honestly really like Kylo Ren. People were complaining like, oh, he's such a whiny teenager. Well, that's because that's what he's supposed to be, right? Like, he's supposed to be torn and, like, angry and raging and pissed off. And I just like his lightsaber, though.
Okay, sorry, just trying to get through the comments. So before we go any further, we are going to get some more questions. There's quite a few of them right now. I want to mention a few things like currently available promos. If you guys are looking for an M82 sniper rifle, essentially a 50 cal sniper rifle for Airsoft, generally you'd have to get an AEG, a gas blowback, or something that costs $600, $700, $800. Which usually price most people out of having those. And they're also ridiculously heavy because they're made out of metal. However, currently, we're offering a Lancer Tactical M82 sniper rifle. It's spring, it's made out of polymer, and you can actually break it up into 2 pieces so you can travel with it or at least store it easily. And it is light as possible.
It is.
And it's also available for only $109. It's a really fun gun. It is spring, so you are going to have to rack the charging handles each shot, but that's not that big a deal. It isn't even that hard to rack.
No, it's actually very easy. I was surprised.
But you can literally shoot it one-handed, which is ridiculous. So if you guys are looking for a new and unique sniper rifle, it's actually a lot of fun to use. And if you want to get the one with the metal bipod, it's only $20 more. In addition, if you guys are watching this from outside the United States, we do ship globally, and it's really easy. All you have to do is add whatever you want to your cart, and then hit that global checkout button. Now, obviously, you're going to put in, your address, what country you're from, and if there's any issues like, certain things we can't send you, it's going to ask you to remove those from your cart, and it's also going to tell you any duties or taxes or fees you're going to have to pay you're going to have to pay to get it into your country. So it's all up front. You're not surprised on the back end. It's very easy. In addition to that, we actually have a pistol special that I believe is still ongoing. If you want an FNX45 gas blowback pistol or an M&P 9 gas blowback pistol, you can get each of those for the regular price, and you're going to get an extra mag free. You're going to get the gun with 2 mags, one that comes with it and an extra one. And that's going to save you $30 to $40 because... I mean, in my personal opinion, with just about any airsoft pistol, you're going to want at least one additional mag. I've played games where I just had 1 mag in the gun, and it sucks to get down to your last bullet, although it can be kind of fun. But, when I have 1 left, make it count. But That being said, when I normally play pistol games, like at Tac City or a local indoor field, I generally want to have between 2 to 4 mags. So saving that $30 to $40 up front is really awesome. I think you guys should take advantage of it, especially if you're looking for an FNX 45 or an M&P 9. And keep in mind that the M&P 9 gas blowback pistols and the M&P 9C, the shorter version, the compact, if you slide the slide back, look underneath it, there's a little knob that you can click to the left or to the right, and basically you can turn it into a full auto pistol with the click of that knob. And it actually shoots, the M&P 9C, the compact version, it shoots 15 rounds a second. It only holds 14, so you empty the mag in less than a second. However, the M&P 9 full size holds more than that, so it takes a second plus.
And I think the mags are in it. Well, the larger mag is interchangeable with the C. You can't really put the C magazine.
No, you can't. So take advantage of that pistol deal to get an extra mag with those. It's limited time only while supplies last. So once we run out, obviously we can't do it anymore. That being said, I want to go into these new guns we have in our office. We were going to do a review on them today, but it got pushed back till tomorrow. These are the Lancer Tactical Lonex AKs. Now, I'm picking up my favorite one right now, which is based off the AKM.
That's actually my favorite one, too,
yeah.
out of these two. But actually, it's really comfortable.
Yeah. Now, this is real wood on here. The externals of these bodies, pretty much the externals are completely made out of steel. A very, very faithful replication of a real AK. And what's interesting about this is that Lancer Tactical, as you might have heard us say before, is known for their entry-level guns. They're affordable products. And this is their, from everything I know, this is their first lineup, besides the Lancer Tactical MMC, of something into a more mid-tier product. These are both of these, as well as their railed version of these guns, which actually just sold out, are available for around $300.
Yes.
And we actually had one of our techs come in here earlier today and take it apart, and he was shocked at some of the features that are actually in here, and even asked us straight up, he's like, hey, do they have an AKMS? And they're rolling out these new products, but he said, do you have an AKMS? Because I'll buy one right now. Because there's some features in here which, let's see if I can... he had to explain it to me. It
does have mechanical blowback.
Yeah,
so it's very loud and clanky.
It does come with mechanical blowback, and if you don't like that, it's easy to disable as well. I personally love blowback. But one of the big features he was shocked by is there's a bar riveted in right here, and it acts as a magwell spacer. So what that does is it prevents magazine misseating issues. Essentially, it makes it...
Oh, that's awesome.
Essentially, it makes it easier and quicker to load the mag every time. Another really important part of this is that the hop-up mount is riveted to the receiver instead of the barrel, which is really good. Now, the hop-up unit isn't fixed to the gearbox or the outer barrel. It's fixed to the receiver, which, if you have an emergency case of gun wobble, it'll most likely prevent catastrophic malfunctions to your gearbox. Now, in addition to this, he basically explained to me that for most high-end AKs on the market, each of them has their own proprietary way of mounting the front end and fixing the hop-up in place. Each one of them has their own issues, pros and cons, and this is the first one where he couldn't, to the best of his knowledge, he couldn't see any definitively negative issues. So this is a huge thing that's put in here. Other manufacturers will. I'm trying to say this, Bill. It's really annoying. I can't even remember.
Other manufacturers.
So other manufacturers have made parts for this that cost about $20 to $30. They have to put in aftermarket. So the fact that both of these features are in here already is huge. And on top of that, all of the internals we saw here are Lonex internals because it's OEM by them. But they're not just standard Lonex internals. They're actually all essentially upgrade parts. Upgrade parts you see on our wall, stuff that you'd normally want to put into your gun aftermarket are already in this gun stock. And in fact, they even have a better motor than normal Lonex guns come with. It's an A3 type motor. So for the price, this is actually shockingly good. And I'm pretty impressed with Lancer Tactical coming out with this.
The one thing I actually really like is the hop-up unit. In a lot of AKs, you'll see it's plastic. CNC aluminum.
That's nice.
So that's a really good feature right there, because I know when it's plastic, usually then it's even harder to move this little bar. It doesn't want to slide for adjusting the hop-up. And another thing I noticed with this one, I think it's probably because that bar you mentioned that I didn't notice, when you get the mag in there, it does not budge.
Yep.
Which is really nice, because I know sometimes with some of the AKs, they'll flop around and stuff like that. But like, there's a good definitive... Now, for those of you that, if you do get this, I was having this issue. I'm like, why is it not clicking it? You actually have to, when you get it lipped, you have to give it a pretty good forceful forceful push to get it to click into place. But once it's in there, it's not going anywhere. And I mean, it's a very good, satisfying.
Yeah. That's true. So make sure to check these out. We have all these models available on our website. The only one that is not currently available is the one with, I believe it's a KeyMod rail.
It's a KeyMod rail system, polymer. It's a polymer KeyMod rail system.
Because it already sold out, but we are going to be getting more of those in actually really quick. So check these out. I'm actually even looking, if I got one, it'd probably be this one, or just like our tech Spencer's in here earlier, I probably want the AKMS with the underfolding stock.
Oh, that one's cool.
Yeah, but this is awesome.
It's really solid. They actually have some very good heft to them, too.
Well, it's made out of steel.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, it's a very good heft to it. And I bet if you, like, it'll look really good, like, after you've used it for a while. Like, it's nice and beat up and abused. It'll look really cool.
Yeah. So check them out. These are the Lance Tactical Lonex AKs. This one is real wood with blowback. That one is polymer with blowback. And the other version, which we're going to get more of in, is the Tactical Polymer with blowback. They're priced around or just under $300. Check them out while you can. And, yeah, hopefully we're getting a lot more. Hopefully we're making a lot more models.
I swear this one right on the side says 1977. I don't know what that means, but it says 1977.
I got nothing. All right. Which has greater realism aspect, the ERG or the gas blowback rifle? My personal opinion is going to go with the gas blowback rifle, mainly because you're generally going to have limited rounds with that, just like a real firearm. You're also going to manipulate it as very similarly to a real firearm.
I'm in the same boat. I was actually, because I shoot rifles left-handed, with some modification to the what's that thing called? The bolt release, the little ping pong paddle, as well as a Magpul bad lever designed for a real firearm. I was able to get it to fit on because, I mean, as a left-handed person, it's a little bit harder to hit that bolt release button. So with my LM4, it was really easy. Just click, push the button, and then I was able to keep firing. So from a manipulation standpoint, and actually I'd say because the recoil's got a little bit of a harder kick, I'd say definitely like a gas blowback M4 or like an LM4 or something like that is going to have more realism to it.
Yes.
And in fact, you have to take it apart and lube it at the end of the day.
All right. Foxhound Unit is asking, why aren't there any combat shirts for youth? You know, we're not in the we aren't manufacturers here. We're retailers, so I can't tell you definitively why there are no combat shirts for youth. I can guess, though, however, that, you know, the market just isn't there for combat shirts for youth on a large scale. The reason you see so many different combat shirts for, you know, adults is because there are a lot of people who want to buy them. However, you know, again, not a huge market for youths wanting combat shirts. So that's the best guess I got.
I think we have a few, like very few.
Like extra small or something. Yeah.
But I thought there were some that we had labeled as youth, but I can't remember what brand they were. I think we had a few, but they could be sold out.
Okay. All right. Someone's asking for what is a good gun under $120? I think the only real options right there are like the best option is a Lance Tactical AK or a Lance Tactical M4.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say because those are right at around $100.
Yeah, and they generally come with battery and a charger.
Yeah, because I mean the next step up will probably be a combat machine, which is about $150.
Yeah. Okay. What would you use, Crytac or just upgrade a cheap gun? Personally, I would absolutely use a Crytac if I could because they're great out of the box. I haven't really had any issues with mine.
I'd say Crytac also because the thing is with a cheap gun, you may upgrade the internals, but when you buy a cheaper gun, you're also paying for the exterior of it. So if, let's say, like for example, I had an AGM M16 as my first gun. After about a year, because it was pot metal, some of the parts snapped.
Yeah. So now, if I was going to do a Polar Star build, which, you know, you're paying, most of the money is going into the Polar Star engine, the regulator, and the tank, I would absolutely get a cheap gun because it really doesn't matter the externals. You're just paying for essentially the functionality of it.
Well, and also it's funny. I remember, I think like a year or two ago, there was a customer that had a Lancer Tactical, the plastic or polymer AK, the one that was like $100, and they were dropping a Polar Star into it.
Yeah, that was Mike.
Oh, that was Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. Eraser, now with Lance Tactical M82s. Yes, you should totally do that. You ever seen the movie Eraser?
No, I have not.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He has two railguns that are the size of M82 50 cals, and he just has one in each hand and walks through shipping yard blowing away everybody.
I'll see it's on Netflix.
Completely unrealistic.
Yeah, I know. Kind of like him never reloading in Commando.
That is great. All right, so...
Speaking of machine guns...
Oh, yeah, actually, I'm glad you... why don't you take these off the table, too, just so we can get that on. We actually just started carrying a World War II era machine gun. I'm not going to let you know about it before Bill brings it up on here, but if you guys have seen Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan, or just about any World War II movie in the European theater, you will notice the M1919 medium machine gun. Some people are confused whether this is a light, medium, or heavy machine gun. This is a medium machine gun.
Yep.
Yeah, we're now carrying it on AirsoftGI.com. This is from Red Wolf Armory. I believe
it's a collab between Viva Arms. Viva Arms did the externals. Internals are by Red Wolf.
Yes. However, I believe Red Wolf sells this by itself. I believe the only ones we sell are the M1919 that come with the tripod. However,
Yes.
if you're going to be spending the money on it, you're going to want the tripod regardless.
Yeah, unless you're a really good fabricator and you want to mount it to a car. But the thing is, it's going to take a lot of time.
It comes with a box mag as well.
Yeah, it does come with a self-winding 5,000 round box mag, as well as they're actually sitting right over here by the computer. You get two 7.4 LiPos, one to power this gun and then one to power the box mag. And I do like the fact that they went with a 7.4 because it keeps the rate of fire more realistic to the real one, which I think the real one was right around 400 rounds per second. Or per second, Jesus. Per minute, excuse me. 4,000 rounds a second, or 400 rounds a second would be insane. But look for a review coming from us soon on this thing. I actually had the pleasure of doing it. It was a lot of fun. Also, this thing is very heavy. It is almost, I want to say, it's almost 40 pounds. So I mean, if you had the choice of getting the tripod or not, I definitely recommend getting it with the tripod. But really cool. It also comes with it comes with a belt, a fabric belt, and I think I want to say it's like 10 or 11 dummy rounds to hide the hose that feeds the BBs right here. So I actually had a lot of fun with this thing.
There's also a nice feature about those dummy rounds. Remember?
Oh, yeah. There's a little switch in here that there's... let me see if I can turn it so you guys can...
They're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah, they can see it.
All right.
Right here. That thing right there is a little motor that spins like a triangle-shaped gear right here. And so as you fire, if you have this little switch turned on, it moves. I think there's a bar right here that sits right where the bullets are, and it shakes them. So it gives you a little bit of added realism, and it makes it look like the bullets are actually being fed into the gun. Nice little feature. I liked it. Overall, this thing's a blast to shoot, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, especially if you're going for, a fixed machine gun position. This would be awesome to run up on, either assaulting or defending. However, I don't think we mentioned it, but it is not cheap. I mean, this setup, because all of this is made out of like hardcore. It's not plastic. It's steel. It's a lot of work went into this gun, and it's a lot of product. And this gun is, I believe, priced at $1,595. Okay, so $1,595. So definitely not cheap by any means possible. However, if you're looking for a collector's piece, or if you want a cool machine gun for your field, or if you just want something badass as all hell, it's a good option, and it's on the market for you to decide whether you want.
And actually, something that this is just a personal recommendation. If you do get this thing, I would recommend don't put oil on it. Let it get worn out. Let it get a little bit beat up. Make it look like it's really been used.
I wouldn't want it to rust.
Well, I mean, not rust, but I mean, like, let it get a little dirty, little scraped and stuff like that.
Well, it's probably going to happen regardless.
Well, yeah.
All right, so that is on our website. Stay tuned for the full review coming on our YouTube channel very soon, done by Bill or AK.
It's very unfortunate that, like, for the box mag and everything like that, you have to have the box mag.
Because you want to just hold it.
Well, you wrap a bunch of like cloth around it and then World at War. Remember, because you just want you can have it. I want to go play that game now. That's a fun game.
That is a fun game. All right, let's see a few more questions here. Hey, Bob, back again. LOL, quick question. There's a lot of stereotypes on Lance Tactical, but the new AK seem very nice. What are your thoughts? We actually just did a real in-depth discussion on their AKs just now, so if you feel like going back earlier in the live show, you can do that, but I'll give you a quick thing right now. Lance Tactical is known, their brand is known for really affordable guns. They really just go after that beginner market, and they go after it really hard. However, these AKs, it's pretty much one of their first jumps into that mid-grade of airsoft gun, and they did a damn fine job, in my personal opinion. And in fact, we had our senior tech over here, and he looked at it, and he was actually so shocked. He asked me if they had a certain model because he'd buy it right now. He was looking for the AKMS. So yes, these are actually legitimately really good, especially for the price around $300. So if you're looking for an AK, you need to give the Lance Tactical AKs by Lonix some serious consideration. They're legit.
Yeah, the wood actually on the one you were holding is very, very
That's
nice.
the one I would get. Yeah.
I think actually it'd be the one I'd get too, to be honest.
Yeah, but ironically, the one with the key mod rail is the one that sold out.
Yeah.
But we're going to get more of those in really quick. So, Did you hear the rumor of SS Airsoft closing due to a lawsuit? Absolutely not. Let's see. What is a really good gun for a smaller person? I'm using an M4 CQC right now, and he's asking for outdoor. It's an interesting question. I mean, you can go with a Crytek PDW.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a short gun...
P90?
Yeah, P90, that's another really good option. You can also go with MP5s.
See if there's anything on the back wall.
KMP9s, if you want gas blowbacks, right out of the box, they shoot right at 400, and they have a surprising amount of range.
MP7 style
MP7s.
also is another good one.
The other thing, I mean, pretty much any PDW style gun, like Knights Armament PDW, I mean, those are going to be shorter guns.
AK's 74 SU, the little one?
Yeah, you can do that. Also, ironically enough, I mean, this probably won't suit you that well for outdoor, but the Echo 1 RDP, the Rapid Deploy Pistol, it's very short. It's originally meant for CQB. However, because, you know, of a lot of great tech work that they've done on the internals, it actually shoots really far, ironically.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
short barrel.
we really did. You know what's another one? How about the Echo 1 GAT?
I found that the RDP shot a little further.
Well, no, I did. I'm just saying in general, though. I mean, there's the GAT, too.
Yeah, I mean, those are both sized for CQB.
Yeah.
But he specifically says he's playing for outdoor.
Oh,
so.
gotcha.
Let's see. Bob and Bill, do you think the Division game could happen in real life, like with the Zika virus? That's a very serious question.
Well, we went from, like, here to, like, here real quick.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't see anything that can happen that crazy, like, with the Zika virus. But,
no, it's not going to turn people into zombies or, like, anything like that.
I mean,
it's just the thing is the virus affects... If I remember correctly, it affects like unborn infants and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're born with smaller heads. Yeah. So I mean, it would have to be a virus that is on orders of magnitude greater than anything we've ever seen before.
Probably stuff that's hidden in a vault deep within the Earth's crust or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, you bet. So probably not is what we're getting at, but the Division is a.
Well,
really
no, didn't you know
game.
like the CDC keeps like each of like the ones, so if there were ever an outbreak, they have something to work with for a cure.
Yeah, no, the CDC does have a vault, either vaccines or samples of old viruses. Yeah, like smallpox or something.
Yeah.
Blanking AK with key mod. Yes, there are actually a couple different AKs with key mods that are out. And actually that leads into something else. I get the feeling you were pissed off by an AK with key mod. So I'm going to show you another one right now. We're going to do a video of this gun, this AK with key mod that I used at BB Wars Episode 5, Water Wars. Check out a short preview right now. Hi GITV, Bob the Axeman Hildebrand here, and I'm going to talk to you about the gun that I used for BB Wars Episode 5 Water Wars, specifically the G&G AK-74 Tactical. Now right off the bat, you can tell this is a very aggressive looking AK, and in fact we got to see this year at SHOT Show 2016, and I was very excited to be able to play with it at BB Wars Episode 5. Now, if you're following our coverage of SHOT Show 2016, you would have already seen this gun at the G&G booth that they had this year. Going over a few of the externals, this gun is made almost completely out of metal, with the only exceptions being the polymer stock and the polymer pistol grip. You also notice we've got a front rail. Vespa, I saw your comment. Come on, I couldn't help it. We had a video queued up, and it was too tempting. So, but as you can see, you know, both Bill and I are also somewhat AK purists. I mean, our favorite AK out of that bunch from Lance Tactical was just the basic AKM with the wood stock. So, and that's generally most of the AKs like I personally own are just straight up basic AKs.
I mean, it's just I really out of like the three that they have so far with the Lonex ones, I like that one the most. But I mean, in my top three, I did pick an AK with a rail system. Yeah, just because I like to have the ability to, like, you know, if I need to mount a flashlight, if I need vertigo, because I don't want to duct tape a flashlight to my gun. I mean, unless I absolutely have to.
Well, the thing is, if I'm like playing a Russian at a Milsim event, or if I'm playing like an Insurgent, I'm just gonna use a basic AK.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing like, you know, at a non-Milsim game or at something where I can dress up whatever, and I do a PMC loadout, I like a tactical AK look.
But I mean, like, even if you're doing a Russian loadout, like some of the Russian special forces, they are running AKs with some form of rail system so they can mount an optic on it, like whether it's an EOTech or something like that. And then, like, you know, grips. I've seen the pictures, and I've talked to our tech.
Like he was mentioning earlier, that'd be like Alpha, Vimple, or no, I don't think it's VDV or FSB. You know, a lot of those units would have like really tricked out AKs. However, when I'm playing on the Russian side, generally I'm just line infantry or militia. So a standard AK works really well for me. And I also like just duct taping electrical tape on any accessory because someone was, or Torrin Carmichael's asking, how can you lower the FPS on Elite Force 1911 CO2 so it shoots under 350 feet per second? I heard you can drill a small hole in the nozzle. Thoughts? Our thoughts are that you should not do that. Do not do that. Generally, we would not suggest trying any at-home remedies to drop the FPS of the Elite Force 1911 under 350 feet per second. You might damage the gun or yourself. Now, generally, we also tell people that if you're playing in a field with a 300 feet per second limit, you're probably not going to want to get an Elite Force, CO2 1911 or the Colt Railgun, which are very similar guns, and they both shoot over 350 feet per second. Those are great for outdoor or fields that have a 450 feet per second limit, but do not try any at-home remedies to try and drop the FPS. If you feel like you want to have, or if you want to pursue this line of inquiry or ask more questions about it, by all means call our customer service line. They have a direct line to our tech department, and you can ask them questions directly. Just so if there are some concern you have, you can air it to them. They can give you specific answers to deal with your needs.
Do you know if Elite Force has come out with any nozzles for that yet, or is it only like stock replacement?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know if Elite Force has come out with other nozzles, or is it just the stock replacement for right now? Because last time I saw it was only the stock replacement.
I believe it's just the stock replacement. How long have you guys been playing Airsoft? That's a very good question.
Oh my God, I'm at 7 years.
I'm almost at 20.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bob wins.
Yeah. So I think, I started playing when I was like 12 or 13.
Okay, if we're going to go back that far, then like...
Well, I started playing Airsoft when I was 12 or 13.
Like, I got my first Airsoft gun and was like plinking cans in the backyard and would occasionally like play with a friend at probably like about 12 maybe? I was in junior high, so that makes it 13 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, wow. I started actually playing and not just plinking around. So yeah, quite a long time. Almost 2 decades for me, and just over a decade for Bill. I win.
You still win. I figured you're older than me.
So. Bob, what CO2 pistol do you recommend the most? Interesting question. Generally, I really like the Elite Force 1911 CO2 pistols. A very similar gun is also our Colt Railgun. In fact, you can use the Elite Force mags or the Colt Railgun mags. You can interchange in between both because they are manufactured by the same company.
I like that all stainless or like all steel variant of the Colt Railgun because it reminds me of the silver ballers from the Hitman games.
If you could revive a video game, what would it be? Shout out. Yes, Spencer DeBar, your shout out is approved. Thanks for coming back to our YouTube channel.
Revive a video game, huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say 2.
Okay, you go first.
You sure?
Yeah. Okay,
I'm going to say Free Space. If you guys have never heard of that game, it was the most epic first-person, space shooter game. Is you're a pilot, and it basically was prefaced on an outside invasion of Earth by aliens, and it was absolutely epic. The capital ships were huge. The fighters and bombers and any other StarCraft could be customized, and it felt like what a realistic future engagement in space would be like. And there's just so much tension and drama and well-written storyline. I actually got the game with a computer, and I was like, oh, it's a whatever game. And I played it. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. So Free Space 2 came out right afterward. I bought it immediately. I wish there was a Free Space 3. And then the second one that I really wish they would make again is Homeworld. Have you ever played Homeworld?
It sounds familiar, but I never played it.
Homeworld was originally going to be called Battlestar Galactica, the video game, because the plot lines are so similar. But when they decided to come out with a new TV show, they lost the rights to it and just made Homeworld instead. Homeworld is the finest space naval real-time strategy game I've ever seen.
That's right. I've heard you talk about this before.
It's 3D, so you can go up, down, around. You can flank from the top, bottom, left, or right. But it is as close to realistic naval real-time strategy in space that I have ever seen. You can board other ships. You can hyperspace in and out. There's carriers, battleships, frigates, bombers, corvettes, just anything you can imagine. It's amazing. I still play it.
I've got 2 different ones. I've got one that not many people may know, and then one that everyone will probably know. The first one is a game on the original Nintendo, the NES, called Iron Tank. is one of the hardest games I've ever played. I've never been able to beat it, even though, I mean, you're talking about a simple game where you can only go up, down, left, right, and then like angle a little bit, and then you have 2 buttons. And I'd love to see a modern remake of that. I think it'd be epic. The other one is an arcade game, Metal Slug.
That's a fun one.
I have Metal Slug, I think it's 3. It was like $5 on the Xbox Live Arcade or something like that. I'm like, buy. I love the Metal Slug games. I don't know, and like, for some reason, I love when you pick up a rocket launcher, he doesn't say rocket launcher, it's rocket launcher. And a heavy machine gun.
Yeah, Metal Slug games are always fun. Anytime I go to an arcade.
Because they're so ridiculous. Yeah. That was like my favorite one. But
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the new Vector? Please, Vector's my face since I started playing Airsoft. That's from Lewis Cran. Now, we don't have a lot to go off of. I mean, we did actually see the AEG Vector at SHOT Show. We didn't actually get to test it out. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. That being said, there are a lot of cool features in the gun. This might be something small. I'm really excited for the spring detentioner. It's just a nice thing to have on an AEG. And on top of all the other features they've crammed in there, I'm just happy they included it. It essentially saves, the life of your spring. It'll basically release the tension so that you don't lose as much FPS over time while using the gun.
Now I believe the new Crytek's are coming with that, like
yes.
the version 2 of the Tridents. Yeah. And the only other gun I personally knew of because I used it was the ICS guns had it because it was a necessary feature in order to split the gearbox and pull out the upper portion.
Yeah, because they had the split gearbox, which made all those ICS guns super heavy.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I just liked the fact that it was super easy to change a spring or a piston if I stripped it. I had that gun for years until I was like, and I'm done with it.
I want to mention this. That Boy Scout was saying, as far as video games, I would probably revive the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series. There is a rumor going out right now that in the next Call of Duty, they're actually going to include remastered versions for the new Xbox One and PS4 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2. If they do that, that would be so legit.
Because I loved the first one.
Yeah, they're so great.
I like them. That was like my first like real multiplayer experience was the original Modern Warfare. Like, because it was always like, come on, I gotta get that helicopter kill streak.
Okay. Shoot, the comments are going crazy.
Yeah, it's like jumping all around and stuff.
Thoughts on the Umbrella Armories Alpha line that is coming out soon? Is it worth the money? It's an interesting question because we actually don't work with Umbrella Armories. I mean, we've heard some things about them, but we don't work hand in mouth them because we have a great tech department right now. So we've never had to do that. I haven't heard a lot of great things about them, and I don't know anything about their Alpha line. So really, what I just said isn't helpful at all, and I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. So
yeah, so I mean, I haven't heard a lot of positive things, but there's some people that like their products, but that's really all I got.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I do like their logo, so that's all I got.
It's totally from
Resident Evil. It's a ripoff. Yeah. Are you going to open a shop in West Virginia? We don't currently have any plans because we do have a shop in the other Virginia. It's actually located in Chesterfield, Virginia. We would like to have a shop open in West Virginia and all 50 states. That'd be awesome. But financially, that's realistically impossible.
Yeah.
But if you would like to check us out on the East Coast, we are located at 100A North Providence Road, Chesterfield, Virginia. Check us out. Our staff there is awesome. If Zach is in for the day, make sure to say hi. He's a really great person, really fun to play Airsoft with.
You got that address memorized.
Yeah.
Although, I know the California one's 21077 Commerce Point Drive, Walnut, California.
Okay. Any news on the KWA MP40? Also, what's your favorite real gun? Mine would be the MP40 or the Peppershaw 41 or PPSH 41. Any news or info on the KWA MP40? We did see it at SHOT Show. It is going to be gas blowback, and they are coming out also with a gas blowback Thompson, but we don't have any definitive ETA. So it looks really cool. It feels great. It feels solid. I think that's going to be a really cool thing when it comes out, and I'm glad they're both doing the MP40 and the Thompson M1. Or M1A1.
I would like the Thompson.
Of course. And it feels...
Oh, if you could get a drum mag with it.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I've always wanted drum mag gas blowbacks. So, what's your favorite real gun? Gosh,
this is always such a hard question. I think I would go with the Springfield Armory M1A, which is, for those of you that know, that's basically the civilian M14. There's no select fire, and it's just safe. and semi with I believe it's J. Allen Industries precision stock. So it's like a heavier aluminum stock, and it's shaped like a kind of like an S. It goes like this, goes down, and comes back up into the stock. Very comfortable to hold. And I've always wanted a 308 semi-automatic rifle, so I think I'd go with a Springfield Armory M1A.
Yeah, you know, I've always been a fan of a suppressed MP5. Like
the SD, the one that's it's built onto it,
no,
or not the one, or like an MP5 with it attached at the end.
It's super picky, but the regular MP5 with a telescoping stock with a suppressor attached onto the end. Basically, it's a build that I saw in Clear and Present Danger, and I thought it looked awesome.
One of the first airsoft guns I wanted to get, and I'm talking when I was really little, was the MP5 SD. Because I don't know why. I was like, it's got a big barrel, I must shoot harder. So I don't know. I was like 8.
Bob, where's the Lightning Hawk DSG? That's an interesting question. That's from Live Free or Rest in Peace or RIP. Now I can't remember off the top of my head, but was it the Lightning Hawk that came out first or the Firehawk?
I think it was the Firehawk, because that was the thing with the duck bill, right?
I believe so.
Because I remember seeing a picture where someone actually Sharpied like duck eyes on it.
Oh yeah. Well, originally I believe one of those Hawks was supposed to come out like stock with a dual sector gear in it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure out like an affordable way or like even a marketable way to make it happen. So they came with the Firehawk, and then I think the Lightning Hawk after that was one that actually finally had a dual sector gear. So I don't know. Honestly, like if it's not on our website, you know, there's a possibility that they stop cranking them out. How a lot of things work in the airsoft world is that, you know, they'll do limited runs in airsoft guns. So, you know, if they do a run and it doesn't sell very well, you know, then more than likely they're not going to do another run unless there's a huge demand for it. So, you know, if there's a gun that comes out you know you really want and you can afford to get it, I would say get it right away, because you never know when they're going to cease doing runs on them.
Or sometimes it just becomes really hard to find them. One of the things, case in point, was remember when the LM4 came out. Once mags were out, it was like forever until they finally came back in stock.
Yeah, and I mean, people were wanting a lot of mags for them, and then, there's just such a huge gap between when, you know, we were selling mags and then when we got restocked.
Because I remember when I first got my LM4, like, I was able to get a few, but as soon as, like, we got restocked, I was like, I need 10!
Yeah. Yeah, I went out to play in Georgia, and one of my LM4 mags didn't work, so I literally only had one.
Nice.
Yeah, and thankfully the folks at SS Airsoft were like, here, just use this for the weekend. So I had 2, which I made work. This is an interesting question. Airsoft gameplay. What was your first airsoft gun, Bob? That's funny. I remember it like it was yesterday. I actually got a KSC G18C pistol. I believe I got it from War Game Club overseas, because there weren't, with one exception, there weren't any retailers for airsoft in the United States. So KSC G18C gas blowback pistol, and then literally right after that, because my grandma wanted to help me get into it because she actually loved real guns and wanted one that she could play with. I got a Classic Army version 1 MP5, which I built to look like the gun I just mentioned. We're actually way over time. We're just having fun answering your guys' questions, so I'm sorry we couldn't get to more of that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If there are any other topics you would like to cover in our next live show, or any gun reviews you'd like us to do, make sure to leave it in the comments below, because we do go through these comments. We'd love to give you more content that you'd really like to see. So once again, I'm Bob the Axeman Hildebrand. This is
Bantha Bill.
Well done, Bill. And this has been the GITV Live Show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.
I got to turn this way to stop the show.
Seems a little bit more awkward, right?